This is my friend Ashley. She's one of our neighbors, and she wants to share with you about how God's been working in her life since she became involved with Circle City Canvas Church. So, Ashley, what was your relationship with God like before you became involved with the church?
Um, well, before I joined Circle City Canvas, I had a relationship with God, but I wasn't going to any specific church on a regular basis. And I had gone through an experience, and I was actually baptized at a church with a very good friend of mine who was in my life. And the day after, some bad things happened, and it kind of made me step back because I felt like the more closer I got to God, the closer the enemy kept trying to hurt me and the people around me. So I kind of, I would say, cowardly ran away from it, and I was raised religious, and it was a little easier for me to, I think, dwell upon not going so that I would kind of be safe, and instead of doing what I should and sticking up and being in the place I wanted to truly be in. And also I don't think I had enough, I didn't feel comfortable having the guidance. I didn't have the guidance I wanted for the journey I really wanted with God.
Okay. And how did you become involved in Circle City Canvas Church?
Well, this is a good one. I have some medical issues, and I was re-diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer, and I had, my old doctor did some very bad medical procedures on me, and I had been infected and in bed for over a year. I had had my surgery in December 2012, and the night before I met this group of kids, I had said 3 prayers to God. And I was I think I was trying to make an excuse of why I still wasn't going to church or trying to get closer to God. I said, okay, God, I really am tired of all this. I can't take it anymore, the stress. I want to be closer to you. But for me to be able to do that, I need to, because I didn't have transportation, and I didn't want to bother anybody to help me with getting to church. So I need a church that's in my area that if in the wintertime I can walk to, or jump on a bus. I really, with my medications and the procedures I'd gone through, getting up at Sunday and being at church at 9 in the morning, even 10 in the morning was really hard for me. So if I could find a later service. And the third thing was being able to be honest with the church I was going to go to, and being able to relate and really feel the connection without feeling like I was different. Because for one, I'm not from here, I'm from the West Coast, and for two, I'm a little unique. So I just wanted to know that I could go and just and be okay and be accepted and learn, and that people wouldn't get irritated if I asked a lot of questions. So I prayed that night. I told God I was so tired, I was done. The next day I'm walking outside to get my paper and my mail, and I walk up to my mailbox, I look around the corner, and there's a group of kids cleaning. So I asked the kids, I'm like, hey, are you my neighborhood cleanup? Because we just did this for the neighborhood. And they're like, no, we're with we're affiliated with, and it was Circle City Canvas Church, this lady, Miss Twyla, and she and her husband they run a church, and they're doing a church out here now, but we came from, they come from Mississippi, right? Mm-hmm. And they were singing, and they were going to go feed the hungry at the Wheeler Mission. And I've done a lot of stuff in the recovery and the halfway houses and the homeless shelters out here. So I was like, oh, that's great. And when I started talking to the kids, they just, it was wild, because they basically weren't talking about church, but they were saying, oh, you should come see us sing, and we were just had a conversation, and they were so nice. And something was just drawing me to it. So I said, okay, when do you guys sing again? And that day was our last day to perform. So I made it down to their performance. I got to see them perform, and I met you, and then we started talking, and I still was wanting to go to church. I was still in a bad place. And I think it was, I was about to have another surgery and I was going through some things. And I found out you had lived around the corner like 9 months from me and we never ran into each other and stuff. And I still was invited, and the church hadn't been put together yet for a weekly service. So I was kind of flighty on the Bible study because you gave me the dates and times. And I still was reluctant because I didn't, for some reason, praying about it, I didn't want to start something and then not follow through, because it was kind of a different feeling when I had met you. And I thought, okay, I don't want to ruin something and they're so close to me, because obviously it's part of my prayer was answered. So, and then I was still sick. So come to find out, services were going to be starting, and they were going to be a 5 o'clock service. My pastor and his wife, Twyla and Carrie, live right around the corner from me, like same block around the corner. And the church is right downtown. So I ended up going to the first one. Now the studies I still was inconsistent with, and I like I said, I was nervous because I felt like, okay, if I get strong back into going to church, then the enemy's going to attack me even worse, or the devil's going to come at me more, and I'm just going to have so many issues with my medical and everything else, and I was really scared. Well, I went to the first church service, and I wanted to make sure that I went to the Sunday services, and I've been to every single service except one because I had a surgery, but I just started coming to the services, and that's how I found out about you guys.
And how's your relationship with God different since you've been coming to the services every week?
Well, I have never, okay, everybody's probably going to fall down. I was raised a Jew. I am Jewish. I'm a Messianic Jew. But I don't put the title on as I'm a Jew. I more say I love Jesus. I've studied Christianity. I was raised learning other religions and going to churches with my dad on Sunday in temple. But I've always loved Jesus. The day before my bar mitzvah, I told my rabbi I love Jesus, and my rabbi freaked out because they called him Messiah. So I was still bar mitzvah, but I have always had a unique relationship being raised like that. So I was very excited to find that when I came to Circle City, I was still a little unsure of stuff. Since coming to Circle City, I've been able to, and doing Bible studies with Twyla, and the way that Carrie preaches, I always have a lot of questions. I have some learning disabilities. I've, like a lot of people have been through certain things in their life. I was able to come one night when I had a really bad night over to their house, and they really reached out to me. Now, mind you, when I was a little flighty about going before services started, Twyla came and put some muffins on my porch and said, I hope you feel better. We're here. And that gesture, I almost start to cry because of it. That gesture made me feel like God was reaching out through Twyla and Carrie. So I thought, okay, I want to be a person that's supposed to do what they do and supposed to get my relationship stronger with God. And all the stuff that I've been through, when I told Twyla and Carrie, I wanted to be honest with them and let them know so that I can have an honest relationship with God and be able to, when I was having issues, ask for help with them. They have done nothing but always help me. And I felt like with Circus City Canvas, you can go to this church. It's a family. They teach like crazy. Carrie has a way of teaching that's very easy to understand. He always expresses it with like experiences in life that you go through or people that you've heard of. And Twyla, in teaching the Bible study, I have been in studies where it was just a format, and I'm always able to ask questions and when I'm doing my readings, and I've always been able to lean on the church, lean on Carrie and Twyla. I had surgery, and every single person in my church had called me or came by. I had recently met a group of individuals that came from Texas, and I connected with them very well through Twyla and Carrie. In fact, there's one lady, hi Brenda, because I knew they're going to see this, and Alan and Carol and everybody. I connected so well with Brenda that certain things that she made me feel were okay to have happened to me. Things that whole church family shared. To this day, I just talked to Brenda yesterday, and I just feel my connection with God is so much stronger. To be around the energy and the people that filter and have a strong relationship and aren't embarrassed and aren't scared and know how to process when negativity happens, or how to be calm, be joyful, celebrate, mourn. It's just learning kind of how to react with everybody, interact with everybody, and that it's okay to be where I'm at in my spiritual journey, and it's okay to ask the questions I have, and through them, like I said, meeting the people from Texas, I have built this family, and I found out I had gotten an infection again in my chest, and I texted right away, and Brenda texted me back quicker than my own family. Twyla and Carrie and the whole church right away, when I was still in the emergency room. And it happened actually on a Sunday. And I was just thinking, I was telling the doctor after I saw him, I just want to get to church. Can I please just get to church? And they processed me out very quickly compared to when you usually sit in the emergency room. As soon as I got to church, it was, of course I broke down, but at first I felt selfish for being upset, because you hear and you experience with everybody else and what they're going through, but everybody was so supportive. They just let me be upset, process it, but all the energy and all the connection of how close I felt God at our church, and with my church family, and with my family in Texas from Circle City Canvas, it's something I've never had in my life. Even when I was going to a different church, the bonds, it's not the same. And whether we stay smaller or get huge, it means a lot, because I don't think I would have grown or be growing, and I don't think at my age I would actually be able to understand if I didn't have you guys, and if I didn't have the church, and if I didn't have the relationships I do that make up for stuff that I didn't have. And God, my relationship, I talk to God all the time, and I can hear God now more clear. And I used to always hear God. I've always heard God, but I don't ignore God now. I don't push it off as to, is that God talking to me, or am I just, what's going on? I don't ignore studying every day. I don't ignore getting into the Word, even if it's only for 5 minutes. And there's days that I have to say, God, I'm sorry, I just have so much going on, but I wouldn't have, I think, the confidence of it being okay. I wouldn't have the relationships I have. I wouldn't have the peace that I have. I wouldn't have the confidence that I have now if it wasn't for this church, and if it wasn't for Twyla and Carrie. And I think the way things are done are really awesome. We have Sunday dinner with everybody, and I hope no matter how big we get that we always do that, because I think that helps it more of a family setting, and it helps everybody know that we're all people and we all have problems. Everybody seems to want to help everybody in our church, and I really feel more, I'm not embarrassed anymore, or I'm not scared to do anything pertaining to God in the church. And I wouldn't have been able to do any of that without this church. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that and
Yeah.
for being so transparent. And thank you to all of you for your support of our church and our ministry here in Indianapolis. God bless you.